I finally moved into my dream home and asked my family to visit. No one came. Every single one had an excuse. Can you imagine pouring your entire soul, every single penny, a decade of your life, into achieving a dream only to have your own family not just ignore it, but weaponize it against you? That's exactly what happened to me, Justine, at 33, when I finally bought my dream home, and what followed was a betrayal so profound, it made me question everything. I'd spent my whole life watching my parents, Thomas and Linda, fight just to keep us afloat in our cramped two-bedroom apartment. Mom waitress mornings, cleaned offices at night. Dad bounced between construction and security. My younger siblings, Natalie and Adam, shared a room, and I slept on a pull-out couch until I was 17. Money wasn't just tight, it was a constant, suffocating presence. I remember Mom making a single pound of ground beef feed us for 3 meals, adding more beans each time. Dad would patrol the house, flipping off lights, sighing, electricity costs money we don't have. But once a month, we'd escape. Mom would convince Dad to borrow his brother's car, and we'd drive through the affluent neighborhoods across town. I'd press my face against the window, picking out my favorites. "Look at that one with the red door, Mom," I'd exclaim, pointing at a craftsman with a wide porch. Mom would smile, her eyes lighting up, "All those windows, Justine, so much natural light." But Dad's words were a cold shower every time, "People like us don't own houses like that. Best not to fill your head with impossible dreams." Those words didn't discourage me, they became my fuel, my challenge. At 15, I landed a job at a local diner, hiding my earnings in a lockbox under my pull-out bed. When my parents found out, they expected me to contribute, and I did, but I always set aside half for my future. Then came high school graduation, and a moment I thought would be pure triumph. My guidance counselor called me in, practically bursting with excitement. I'd gotten a full scholarship to State University, housing included. I was going to be the first in my family to go to college. Mom hugged me tight, "I always knew you were special." Dad nodded, a flicker of pride, then quickly, "Practically, college is expensive, even with scholarships. Don't get too big for your boots." Natalie, 14, seemed genuinely happy. Adam, 12, was too young to really get it. College was a brutal test. The scholarship covered tuition and basic housing, but little else. I worked at the campus bookstore, waited tables on weekends. Sleep was a luxury, but my grades stayed up, and my savings continued to grow. The cultural shift was harder than the financial strain. My classmates came from wealthy families, talking about European vacations and parents who were doctors and lawyers. I learned to navigate conversations carefully, sharing almost nothing about my background, feeling the chasm between our lives. When I called home, the conversations grew strained. Mom wanted every detail, living vicariously. Dad focused on costs and if my jobs were hurting my studies. Natalie and Adam talked less and less, our shared childhood experiences weren't enough to bridge the growing gap. Graduation day. 4 grueling years later. And then watch the full story, link is attached below.